I found an interesting book here while looking for the Megillas, preparing for Purim, and it says on top, Congregation Shomrei Hadass, 16 South Bridge Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, so you know how old it is. And it says, Seder Yotzros im Krovatz Lepurim. What are Yotzros? Yotzros are the prayers that are added on the 4 special Shabbosos during Shachris. And the reason why they're called Yotzros is because it's in the bracha of Shachris, which starts off with Yotzer or Vorei Chosha. It's called Yotzros, Yotzer in the creation. There are also special prayers that are said in Musaf on those days, and they're called simply Musaf for that day. But it also has Krovatz for Purim. What does the word Krovatz stand for? Krovatz stands for, it's an acronym for Kol Rino V'Yeshua Ba'ohalei Tzadikim. Kol Rino V'Yeshua, the sound of joy and tumultuous celebration in the tent of the righteous. What does that have to do? That's a sentence that comes from Tanakh, but it also is referring to the day of Purim, the celebration that takes place, the Ohalei Tzadikim, the tent of the righteous, Mordechai and Esther, and we, all the Jews afterwards, there is celebration on this day. And likewise, these Yotzros are added in the middle of Shmona Esrei for those who have the custom to do so. Apparently, the custom was many years ago here to say the Yotzros. Just to me, that's always very interesting because in my parents' shul in San Francisco, at a certain time, someone said we should stop saying Yotzros. Why? Because nobody understands what it is. And therefore, why take the time to do it? My father said, it's the minhag of the shul, it's a custom, we should continue with the Yotzros. And he had a letter from Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach of Eretz Yisrael, who was the sage of Israel, in which he said the minhag, the custom of a shul, should be preserved, and you should continue to say Yotzros. So I don't know in practical terms if it got past my father's pocket and whether people listened or not, but the Yotzros, or those places that had the custom to say it, they were always very beautiful. In San Diego, it was said, someone had yahrzeit always on Purim Day, and he learned to say Yotzros. And it was a very, very interesting process of his doing it, and everyone tried to keep up with him. I was told that I have to say a Purim joke to end off with. So let me ask you a question. How big was Vashti? There's 2 fingers went up, which means that Vashti was as big as 2 women. How do I know that? Because it says in the Megillah, Gam Vashti HaMalka Asasa Mishtei Nashim. Vashti was made out of 2 women. Now, the word Mishtei Nashim is a celebration, a wine celebration of the women, but Mishtei, she was made out of 2. How is it possible for somebody to be made out of 2? How could Vashti be so fat that she was like 2? How do you say mother-in-law in Hebrew?
I don't know.
Chamati, my mother-in-law, okay? So it says in one place that Vachamas HaMelech Shachacha. The king's mother-in-law was named Shachacha. And it says in another place, Vachamaso Bo'arabo. His mother-in-law's name was Bo'arabo. Really, Chema is anger. But how that has to do with mother-in-law, you'll all figure out on your own. But it does say there that one time she's called Vachamoso Ba'araba. His mother-in-law's name is Ba'araba. The other place it says Vachamasa Melech Shachacha. His mother-in-law's name was Shachacha. How is it possible for him to have 2 mothers-in-law? He really didn't. It just he had one mother-in-law who was so fat that she was like 2. So she had 2 names. And that's one piece of Purim Torah. A good day, gentlemen.